Welcome to episode 1 of the Brisbane Lions Fancast, a brand new show running through lions.com.au for the 2013 season. I'm Dom Fay, I'm a local radio presenter. You can hear me on B105 on Sunday and Wednesday nights. And joining me, as he will be for every week of the upcoming season, is AFL Media's Queensland reporter Michael Whiting. G'day, Mike.
Yeah, g'day, Dom. You might a few people out there might have read my stuff on the Lions and Gold Coast Suns on afl.com.au. So, mate, I'll be joining you each week through the season and can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show ahead. And look, what better time to start a Lions podcast after a spectacular pre-season?
Yeah, most success for the club for quite a few years, isn't it? So the Lions have rolled through that pre-season, won the NAB Cup final convincingly against Carlton. Not many injuries on the injury list, so as far as the pre-season goes, perfect preparation for the Lions. Now they put that behind them and move on to round 1 this weekend against the Western Bulldogs.
It's going to be an interesting match on Saturday. I'm a bit worried personally about the... well, not worried. Apprehensive is probably the better word, about the fast and direct game style that we showed in the NAB Cup, about whether that will hold up in the...
You're meant to be excited about that, mate. It's exciting footy.
Oh, it was undoubtedly exciting footy. But do you think it can hold up in the home and away season?
Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? It stood up against Carlton, who Mick Malthouse coach team are renowned for their defensive pressure and their defensive mechanisms, and the Lions exposed that in the grand final. It was only the pre-season cup. I guess we'll see once the premiership matches get underway, and that starts this weekend. And I think Michael Voss put it really well a couple of days ago by saying that whatever happened in the pre-season, you can add 20% onto it once we get into the premiership matches. So I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. We just want to run through a few areas on the ground and get your thoughts, and you can chuck a few back at me about who you think might fill the last few spots remaining. I want to start in defence. When you take into consideration the three big guys, Merritt, Pat, Full, Maguire, you consider Golby and Adcock are probably locks. There's probably one spot left down there. What are your thoughts on it?
There is. It's pretty competitive, isn't it? And I guess that's the stage you want to get to as a team and a club. My thoughts are that Elliot Yeo has done enough to get that 6th and final defender's position in the pre-season. I thought he was terrific, I guess especially in that grand final against Carlton when there was a lot of pressure on Yeo, not only defensively, but he can run off and provide some run and carry. I think he's just edged Sam Doherty, although I think Doherty will play plenty of senior footy this year. So I think Yeo might just get the nod there. I guess it's not the only position up for grabs, though. If we look to the middle of the field, there's a lot of players coming through there. I don't know whether how you feel about Patrick Karnezis, Clay Beams, James Polkinghorne. These are the sort of guys on the fringe.
I think Karnezis has had such an impressive pre-season that he's got a spot sewn up, you'd have to think. At least that's my point of view.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he's done enough as well.
As for Clay Beams, he came on as the sub in the NAB Cup Grand Final, which probably shows he's not an absolute lock yet, but I would think that this is probably the season where he'll play the majority of games.
Yeah, and it's probably a great chance for these guys, isn't it? Because Simon Black's still out for a couple of weeks, and when Blackie gets fit, obviously he's going to walk back into the team and someone will have to make way for him. So guys like Beams and Karnezis and Polkinghorne and these guys that are probably on the fringe really have to sort of make hay while the sun shines, don't they?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with Polkinghorne, a guy who's given us many memorable moments, including the West Coast Torp and a great snap goal in the Carlton NAB Cup Grand Final. But he really needs to, I think, add another element to his game this year to keep a spot in the senior side.
Certainly does. The spots are they're tight, aren't they? They're really tight, and that's what every club wants to get to. One more spot up for grabs, I think, or maybe not for grabs, but a player that divides opinions among a lot of Lions fans is Aaron Cornelius. Can you see him forcing his way into the 22 for this weekend?
He adds something to our forward line that is really unique. For that reason alone, I want to put him there because when he's on, can be the most dangerous player in our forward 50. I don't know if you saw much of the GWS live stream game, but in that match, he absolutely dominated for us. And he did it really well in the first 2 NAB Cup mini games as well. And it was only, I think, the second half of the Collingwood game onwards that he seemed to struggle a bit, but he showed enough for me to think he should be in the side for round 1.
It might come down to structures, mightn't it? I've got him just out of our top 22 for this round 1. It might just depend how that Voss and the coaching staff want to set up. They've got Brownie, Stephen Martin looks like he'll get a run. Just depends whether they want that third tall or not. But he's shown enough in the pre-season that he's elevated his fitness and elevated his game to a point where he can play some consistent senior footy this year.
And that's a pretty comprehensive overview, I think. Coming up next, we've got a chat with Brent Maloney, the new recruit from Melbourne.
Can't wait for it.
That's next on the Brisbane Lions Fancast.
At the Brisbane Lions, we love social media. Liking our fan page on Facebook or following @Brisbane Lions on Twitter is a great way to keep up to date with the latest Lions news and access exclusive behind-the-scenes content. You could also win some great prizes by entering one of our online competitions.
Welcome back to the Brisbane Lions Fancast, and joining us on the line is new Lion Brent Maloney. Now, Brent, I want to kick it off with a question. Obviously, you're born and bred Victorian. How are you liking Queensland?
Mate, I'm loving it. It's been fantastic. Obviously it's a totally different lifestyle to the hustle and bustle of Melbourne, and I've really enjoyed it. It's quite relaxing, to get down the beach or get up to Noosa or the Gold Coast. It's great.
Brent, you're at Melbourne for quite a lot of years. How have you managed to fit in with a new club?
Yeah, great. Look, the club's been fantastic. Obviously, the playing group, it helped growing up with, Matty Maguire, being friends with him, and then, knowing Tommy Rockcliffe and guys like that. So it's helped knowing a few blokes before I got here, but the players have been fantastic, and obviously the coaches have been working closely with Shane Woden and obviously Bossy with a lot of the midfield stuff. It's been great to be able to work with players I looked up to when I was a kid.
You mentioned when you joined the Lions last year that Michael Voss was a bit of an inspiration for you in his playing days. I'm just wondering how you found him as your senior coach.
Yeah, look, I think everyone idolised him in some way. He's the champion of the game, and I just love listening to him talk and trying to learn as much as I can off him because he's been there and done it.
And Brent, speaking to a lot of other players at the club since you've come, it sounds like you've taken on somewhat of a bit of a mentoring role. Like you're not in the official leadership group, but a lot of the younger guys keep giving you a mention and giving you a rap about how you've taken them under your wing. How have you found that role?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I feel, I've been around the game for a while now, and I'm trying to teach these guys and try and fast track them as quick as I can because we want success. I want success before I finish, so if I can fast track these guys, help them with their stoppage work or just their touch, their contested footy, it's only going to help.
Speaking of success, you probably haven't enjoyed as much team success as you would have liked throughout your career. Is changing that a real motivating factor for you at your time at the Lions?
Definitely. Obviously being 20, just turning 29, the clock's ticking, and look, my body feels great, and hopefully I've got 3, maybe 4 years left, but you take 1 year at a time, and I'd love to see some success, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Brent, have you been surprised by the level of talent at the club since you've come here, or was it what you expected?
Look, I knew there was a lot of talent here, but I was surprised by the skill level of the group. I think Brisbane have gone down the pathway of drafting a lot of footballers, and the skill level is fantastic. And the ball hardly hits the ground during training, and that was the big thing I noticed. Coming up here is the skill level, and obviously I knew there was a lot of talent in this group, but they also got a lot of they got a high work ethic.
Mate, and just one more before we let you go, Brent. On the Western Bulldogs this weekend. What do you think about them, and does it affect the match greatly, the fact that Matthew Boyd's been ruled out with injury?
Yeah, well, I heard that last night. Obviously, he's the captain of the club, and he's very important in their midfield, and he sets them all up. So, but I'm sure they'll have someone come in and play a role. Like they're very hungry. They've got a lot of young players coming through there now who are very hungry, and they're very hard at it, and they're very good at contested footy. So we've got to bring high level energy first quarter and really hit them hard. So I'm really looking forward to that challenge, and we'll see how we go.
Well, all the best for the weekend and for your future years at the Lions. Thanks for joining us and being our first guest on the Fancast today.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
And that's just about all we've got time for on the first ever Brisbane Lions Fancast. Before we go, though, I just thought we'll give a few predictions and see, have a bit of a laugh about them at season's end, maybe.
Exactly. We'll see how far off the mark we are in about 22 weeks' time.
First is Brownlow. I've picked Trent Cotchin for the Brownlow. Who's your tip?
I've gone with Paddy Dangerfield.
Premiers?
I'm just leaning towards Hawthorn, although I'm a bit more nervous the longer that prediction goes.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with West Coast. Even though they didn't look flash against Freo, I'm still going to back them in. Where do you think the Lions will finish on the ladder?
This might not go down too well with a few Lions fans, but I've got them finishing 10th. I think Brisbane will improve significantly as a team, but just can't quite see them getting over enough teams to get in the 8, but would be happily proved wrong. I'm going 7th. I'm backing them in on this one. I wasn't going to, but I just think we can really take a leap forward this year. A few teams have to drop out of the 8 for that, Dom.
I know. I know. And I'm prepared to be wrong.
You could be seen as the genius at the end and not me.
Maybe. And club champion?
Jack Redden. He's a guy I really like. Jack Redden, and I think he's been knocking on the door the last couple of years and Mr. Consistent. I think he might just sneak it this year.
I'm going Dane Zorko. which I know is a little bit of an out there prediction since it is only his second season.
I mean, Brownie did say that last year, if Zorko played the whole year, he might have just about won it. So, mate, you could be right.
Perhaps.
I guess we'll see.
We'll come back to them at the end of the season, I think. And that concludes the first ever Brisbane Lions Fancast. It's been good fun, Mike, and I can't wait to do it again next week.
Sure has. See you next week.
See you then, hopefully with 4 points in the bank. That's us. Bye.